So before I start on Kiguta's story, I'd like to just talk about Babu Wino when he didn't show up at the first reading of the finance bill, and then he made a story that he was preparing for court. I mean, you're a member of parliament, number one. You can ask your lawyer, or these schedules are drawn up in advance. They are drawn up 1 year in advance. You could have asked your lawyer to ask for time from the judge. I'm sure the judge would have listened to you because, I mean, both of the legislature and the judiciary are funded by the same budget that you are going to oversee. So I'm sure you would have been, there are provisions within the case where you would have been allowed to continue based on your position. Because we also want the judiciary to be funded, to be heavily funded, so not to buy the Chief Justice a new Land Cruiser, but to boost capacity, digitize the records. You know, those are the things we want. So I don't understand why you didn't do that. So that story is not storing. I've looked at the comments, and then the case that you're talking about that you're going to attend, first of all, was self-inflicted. That issue was created by you unnecessarily. You still keep on opening wounds which are almost about to heal, and then now we are just talking about DJ Evolve. Come on, man. But people need to be ideologically astute. I think Kenyans now are not, they don't have time for people who are playing ping pong. Your foot is here, you're on the fence. No, Kenyans want people who are steadfast on their position. We don't want vigeugeu. Apana, we don't want now every story must check out. You see how Pasaris just threw ODM and there are people under the bus. You can't be doing that in this day and age. It's almost like scoring an own goal during full time. That's crazy. Anyway, I saw that Kiguta has sued Jomo Gecaga, who is a former personal assistant of President Uhuru Kenyatta, former president, has sued. She wants a monthly upkeep of 2.7 million, or she wants a one-off figure of 413 million shillings. And me, I'm thinking like, yo, Kiguta, you need better lawyers. I think you need to add zeros. You need to add 1 0 on each of those sums, because you need to understand who you are dealing with over here. You know the Kenyatta family, I told you, they operate as a pack of hyenas. So anyone who was around President Uhuru Kenyatta had to be vetted from the highest office. First it starts with the mother, and then it comes down like that to the brother. Then it comes down. I told you there's a plethora of muzungus who now have to vet everything now, because them they only listen to muzungus. So you need to understand, first of all, Jomo Gecaga is the son of somebody called Udi Gecaga. Udi Gecaga was his first wife is Uhuru's sister. She's called Jenny. So that's so Jomo is Uhuru's first cousin. And you need to, first of all, I told you this is not a gossip page. This is not a gossip site. Here we talk about facts. We talk about articles, newspaper. We cite articles. We cite cases. All these cases, especially the cases, are very important, because somebody like Samuel Gishuru, we would not have known that he launders money in Jersey Islands, and that's where he's been hiding money, which he has been stealing from, or he had been stealing from Kenya Power. He was a former MD of Kenya Power, a strong man, very close to President Moi. They plundered Kenya Power to its deathbed. But we wouldn't have known hadn't his first wife gone to court. So these court cases are very important because we know a lot of details. So even the investigators, they are always looking at those court cases because there are those details. So from one detail filed by Samuel Gishuru's wife, they were able to connect the dots that he has money in Jersey, and there is still an extradition warrant pending that has been halted by the courts here in Kenya. Anyway, so Jomo, this Udi Gecaga is a very interesting guy because during the Moi era, he's the one who used to supply BMWs to the government, these motorbikes. So he had his dealership was called Mashariki East Africa Motors. So every year there was a new BMW fleet, first of all for the president's escort. So all of them. So he has been connected because even during the earlier years of the 70s, when Jomo Kenyatta was still alive, he was made the chairman of Lonro East Africa. Now Lonro where you see Londro House in Nairobi, is it was started by a Muzungu economic hitman, a British economic hitman. You see, when the colonialists left Kenya, they didn't leave like completely. They left 1 foot here, 1 foot there. There was a 60% of the colonialists who I think their morals and conscience now said, now we are ready to leave this country. And then there is a 40% who are left here now masquerading as settlers or conservationists, masquerading. I don't know who appointed them as to conserve our wildlife. Why can't they conserve wildlife in their countries? And then now the British government unleashed now economic hitmen, jackals like Tiny Roland. So Tiny Roland used to get the most connected individuals to serve on the board of Londro East Africa, where now they continued just the extraction, but now rebranded away from the colonialism tag. So the dad was a chairman of Londro East Africa. That was a big deal. And now he came, and then he has interests. But the most interesting case I've found is that around 2020, I think Macharia Gaido wrote this article how Udi Gecaga, now Jomo's father, has taken his stepmother to court. They are arguing over a palatial property in Muthaiga where she lives, where she used to cohabit with his late father, now Jomo's grandfather. That's one house in Muthaiga, like 2 acres, and then there are 8 other parcels of land or blocks of land around Muthaiga. Now, can you imagine how much money that is? Can you imagine how much money that is? These guys are swimming with money, and these are the guys who profiteered from the colonial, expulsion. Like the people who are going out, these are the guys who are ready. They are the hawks and the sharks, who are ready to benefit. These are the guys who profited from the sweat of the Mau Mau liberation struggle without even ever dropping, without even doing anything, just because they were at the right place at the right time. When the Muzungus were leaving, these guys were there to get the jobs, to get everything. So you can imagine how much. Now that's just one. Because I've been in coffee myself, in the coffee industry for a minute. Udi Gecaga also owns a farm somewhere in Ruiru, prime area near Tatu City. It's called Yadini. In fact, one of the companies that Cecily Mbarire was talking about is called CMS and Ecom, one of the coffee cartels.
Ecom again has another one called CMS Mills Limited.
It's based in his farm, and you're talking about a farm like 500 acres in prime areas. This is money, man. And then at some point we heard that Udi Gecaga, this is Jomo's father, Udi Gecaga has married Sally Kosgei. Sally Kosgei, that was then, sometimes in 2008 that they got married. And you can see this is a marriage of money. This is a marriage of money because these first of all, don't forget, they come to divide us based on tribe, but then they are doing business together. They are marrying each other. But when they are speaking, when they take that microphone, it's just polarizing and toxic, divisive rhetoric. So they got married. So this is money and money coming together. So me, I'm saying Kiguta should be paid that amount of money. First of all, even Jomo is not. He's a thug in his own right. He's a thug because there was a story. I don't know whether it was propaganda or what. So there is this entrepreneur who had gone to give Uhuru money. I don't know whether it was a Muhindi guy. He had gone to give Uhuru money, a bribe. I don't know whether it was 10M. I don't know whether it was propaganda by Akina Itumbi or what. Because you never trust these guys and all these stories. But there was some element of truth because Jomo had been kicked out at some point, and then because of Mama Ngina, he was insinuated back to Uhuru. Mama Ngina is the one who ran the country for 10 years. So he had been given money to give Uhuru, and then he didn't deliver the money. And then he was locked up there's a cell in State House, a cell of luxury. He was locked up there. It was a key story which was trending. Don't forget that also Jomo Kenyatta was the PA of Moses Wetangula when Moses Wetangula was the Minister of Foreign Affairs. They inflated the cost of Tokyo Embassy. They cooled chums like by 10 times. So these guys who are the sole dealers of BMW for like 20 years. By the way, who is the dealer of BMW these days? Us guys of ex-Japan. How will we know? So Anne Kiguta, lipeni Anne Kiguta hiyo pesa. Anne Kiguta is a raw deal, ask for more money.